All right. So we are live. Hi, everyone. Welcome to Evaluating Values and Connecting with Career. My name is Bailey Bracken. I'm a career advisor for the School of Business and School of Education.
Hello, everyone. My name is Jacqueline Polk, but I go by Jackie, and I am the career advisor for the School of Human Services and the School of Liberal Arts and Sciences. So, we have a fun topic today. It's evaluating values in connection with career. Now, we're going to help you determine so you'll know where we're going with the presentation. This isn't solely about making a career decision. This is about understanding what you value in relationship to work. A lot of the times we put a lot of emphasis on how much money you make and the best job that fits your career, but we're going from the perspective of how do I understand what I value when it comes to career. So we're going to dive right into the first set of thoughts that I want you to think about. There's two type of values, okay? So it's real simple, two type. You have intrinsic and extrinsic work values, which essentially in the broken down, intrinsic is going to essentially be things for you, okay? So they're going to be have to do with the actual task or the doing the job. So I want you to think of, I have ways and things I value with doing my job. And extrinsic, so inward, X outward, is going to do a lot more with what is the result of my job. So a lot of the times we think about work, an example, intrinsically, I value helping people. That's something for me. It is, I get to help. Now, a byproduct of my value is that I get to see my students graduate and get employment. So my job both meets my intrinsic needs and my extrinsic needs. So again, meets my personal needs and my professional needs.
So now let's go over identifying work values. So there's a lot of different ways we can identify your work values. If it's not something you haven't really thought about that could go into place, we're here to help you with it. So because you're not identifying your work values, that can diminish what you do for work and living and what you enjoy about your work. You might start to hate your job because you don't know what you're working toward. So although it may sound complicated, you can simply just list what's important to you. If you like helping others like Jackie said earlier, or if you like being in a teamwork environment, or you like working alone, or you like working from home, or flexible hours where you can travel. Those are all things you can think about. Or if you don't know where to start, we're going to go over that as well, because within no matter what your occupation is, these work values are going to come up. They're going to be important to make you feel satisfied in your work, like you feel like you have completion toward your day. So it's important to find those things. So let's go over, if you have no idea, like I don't even know where to start with work values, like I don't even know what I value, we got you. So we also have our resource focus too, and I put the link right here. And I'll show you how to get to it also. In fact, we could probably just go straight to that. So what I did, I'm gonna start at the very beginning. So I Googled UNT Dallas Career Services. And of course I misspelled it because that's me. And so then we're gonna go to our webpage and it leads to this. And you'll click for students. And then we'll scroll down here and we'll click on focus 2. And then it brings us to this. So it'll look like this when you log in. And these are all different resources you can use to see where you're at in the career planning process and what your academic strengths are. But today we're going to focus on the values assessment, which there's all 5, and we're going to go over a little bit of each of these. But I just wanted to go over this one real quick. If lets me click it. So it's a little quiz to kind of help you see where you stand. So it gives you this whole list of values. And you're only allowed to click 3, which I think this is the hardest assessment because I have a lot more I want to click, but we're going to roll with it. So for example, we're going to click what Jackie said earlier, helping others. We're going to say income because we got to live. We need a salary. We got bills to pay, And then also maybe we're going to say creativity. We like to be creative at work, express ourselves. And there's even an option for artistic creativity. So if you're more hands-on, I like to develop more program kind of a thing. So we'll go with that. So then we'll click continue. And then it's going to give it your top 3 right here. So we have creativity, helping others, and income. And if we scroll down, it gives us a bunch of different job titles we can look at where that falls in that role. Now, don't get upset if you don't see something you don't like here. Maybe something important to look at is the job families over here. So maybe if you don't like these exact job titles, we can focus on the job family and find more jobs that belong within that family. But also we can look at the salary. It gives us different types of majors that fit in that role. So we kind of have a starting point based on our values, what our end career could look like that can make sure that we are satisfied every day in our job. That's pretty cool. And also gives you a couple more based on different values. So as you scroll down, you might see more that apply to you that fit within your range and others not so much. But this is just a great starting point to see where your values lie and what jobs match those. So we're going to go back to the presentation.
One thing I want to point out real quick, baby. Go right back to your value. So at the top 3 values, you have creativity, helping others, and income. Scroll down for me, Bailey. A lot of the times, the reason if income is a value to you, this is a big part, and money is real, bills are real, but we want to really determine, is income what's important to us or just having enough to live off of? Because you notice that we see the job families, but we notice that these are very much like, and you're talking about 70 to 80 to 6-figure jobs. But really, what if the idea is I just need enough to live comfortably? That I don't believe I need that much to live comfortably. Go to cost of living real quick, Bailey. So bank rate, cost of living calculator is how you need to determine your bottom line for living. This is where most people kind of skip. We think, okay, if I can make 50,000, I'm making good money. Well, it could be bad money depending on where you're moving to. It could be good money depending on where you're moving to. Also evaluating your needs. This is a part that we don't talk about a lot because if we're honest, everyone wants to have jobs at 6 figures for the most part. But the reality is we may or may not need them. It just truly depends on your cost of living. So if you scroll up for me real quick, Bailey, and we're going to use an example. We're going to do like the city I'm moving from Dallas because I'm right now living in Dallas. And I said, okay, I'm moving from Dallas and I want to move to Houston. It's not that far away, but I need to get away from family a little bit because I need a break. So, and go down real quick, Bailey. Say, for instance, we put our current salary. So go up somewhere it says current salary. Maybe right now you're making, we'll put it at 25,000. I have a part-time job, so I really don't know what that looks like there. Guess what? In Houston, whatever job you have would be equal. So this is another piece that you want to be able to think about. If you're in a job and it's making 42 and you're comfortable, only thing you want to think about is my cost of living. Maybe somebody say, well, make 60,000. What's the purpose of 60,000? I think a lot of the times we start putting income weight on occupations when really income is to support the lifestyle that we determine. Now, again, as we go back over to that values assessment, if income is a value for you, then yes, it needs to be taken into consideration. But Bailey, go back to that values assessment one more time. We're going to redo it one more time, but we're going to leave out. We're going to leave out income. We're going to keep creativity and we're going to leave income out. Click on it for me. You can do this. So a lot of you all, guess what you can do? Go back. So now you scroll down. We're looking like, okay, they gave me very similar ones. All right. But guess what? The bottom started to change a little bit. So we see that an admissions counselor is at 57. We have anesthesiologist who's making, again, 6 figures. So you're seeing this jump because when we took income out, our income ranges, again, I'll use an example, catering administrator. So if you're currently right now working in hospitality and you're like, I enjoy it, guess what? You see how when we took income out, they start to give us some more roles that were in that 50,000 range. So although bills are real, maybe you just want your basic needs covered and income isn't the primary focus. So that's why you want to make sure we think about those values and change it up. Bailey just went and redid the assessment. You're not stuck with one assessment. You go back and say, okay, I thought that was it. Okay, maybe that's not most valuable to me. And you start from there.
Your values might change too as you're getting in different classes and going through different life experiences. And maybe like what Jackie said, you weren't in the best mood when you took this. Like you were like, look, I just got to do this for a class. Like, I don't care. Click, 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 call it a day. Well, maybe later down the road, you realize you still have this resource. So you can go back and take any of these assessments and still be in the right mindset. And you probably get different results.
And guess what? We had values. If you look at one of the other assessments is leisure assessment. We have, so guess what? They want to know about your spare time. Maybe the reason you talk about income and job and why you value jobs because they make more money is because you're like, there's certain things I want to do outside of work. Maybe I want to travel. Maybe I want a big home. Maybe I want a certain vehicle. Maybe I like to be able to go buy certain clothing. Whatever that may be, what you're going to notice is they're going to give you a series of different questions to find out what you like to do in your downtime. Once you do that, they're going to, just like the other assessment, you're going to have some results based off of that. Guess what? You're going to see here, there, again, scroll all the way down. We'll see here, she has 3 different sets. So we're going to go with aesthetic, the very, very top one. We want to explore that. So you see, they broke it down. Guess what? That person will be a doer. So again, more information about you. Because maybe values, Bailey said something really true. That one was hard for me, Jackie. That breaking it down to 3, it can be challenging. But that's why we have all the other assessments. They help you start putting into perspective the values that you're choosing. Because if you notice, that is a number 4 assessment, not number 1, not number 2, it's number 4. And it's number 4 for a reason. So hopefully that helps you. This is our go-to. How do I actually find a value? Start with focus 2. You don't detour. You don't have to guess. Go to focus 2.
And also maybe focus 2, like maybe you have this set job and you don't see any of your values on focus 2. We have another resource called Onet, which I haven't pulled up. That's just a screenshot so y'all can see it. So as you can see here, we can type in any job title or major we're interested in. So I'll just type in business. And it gives me all these different job titles. So say I really want to focus on a business intelligence analyst. So we're going to click that. And it gives me day-to-day tasks, technology skills, and the little fire emoji means they're trending. So those would be very important to look at. And ideal knowledge about the job. So we probably will need to know about mathematics, computer electronics, things like that. Some soft skills to focus on, abilities, work activities. But the main thing I was getting to is work styles can also be kind of going into work values as well. So for these, we have achievement, working conditions, and recognition. So if I appreciate like meeting goals and getting rewarded for it, this job's going to be a great fit for me. But if I like to work maybe individually and I don't like a crowd and I don't want to be pointed out, probably not the best fit for me. And also thinking about if I'm not great at attention to detail under work styles, once again, this may not fit, but if something I thrive at, perfect. So this is just another way. If you have a certain job title picked out and you are like, okay, I just want to know these values to see if they could even line up. This is just another resource to check and make sure you're in line with what it's important to you.
And another big thing to point out too, your work values and work styles do not change just because your job changes. So an example, whatever kind of family or friend group we connect with, there are certain values that are held the same, regardless if you move from different state to state. When it comes to work, your work styles, maybe the work environments change, but there's certain work styles that you use. Attention to detail, regardless if you were working as Sonic as a car hop to now you're working as an administrative assistant, both of them pay attention to details. So then we come down to work values. Maybe you're like, I realize like I gotta feel recognized. If I'm doing sales, I need them to say, you're doing a great job. I need them to recognize me with compensation. So if a job is not being recognized is not one of the values of that job, you not saying it's not a job for you, but you want to be aware of where they scale. So again, just because you change jobs, your values and your work styles will not change. The jobs change. What you start doing is you start scaling. So you notice on the values assessment, you had to pick your top 3. So guess what? It's going to be that same thing. Now, granted, if we can find all of our work values, all of our work styles in a job, we're super excited. But this is where you have to start determining this job has 2 out of 3. Okay, I can deal with it. This job has all 3. What if it has none? But I like the amount of money it makes. That's where it's that conversation has to start going back to your assessments, going back to what your values are to then make that informed decision. So that's where it gets complicated. That's the gray area. That's where it's like, well, Jackie, I like the paycheck here, but I don't connect with everything else with the job. And this is not a foreign concept, y'all, but this is where you have to make the decision of, okay, if my values are this, and I know I need this to do the best at my job, and this job makes that amount of money, I would love to have the amount of money, but it doesn't, I don't see fulfillment. We go back to cost of living. We determine what our bottom line is. Then we come back again and go back into the searching of jobs that still fit our values, our work styles, etc.
And sometimes you might be in a job where you know your values are not fitted now. It doesn't mean you can still work that job for a little bit, but just knowing that that's not going to be your forever job. Like you're still going to be able to meet your values and your work styles and your skills maybe later. But sometimes taking an opportunity to gain more skills is not a bad opposition either, but just knowing that one day that your values are going to matter more than any paycheck.
And being aware of them. All this presentation is being aware. There are times in your career journey where you're going to take a job, a role, because it pays more money, and that's again for a purpose. Maybe buying a home, buying a car, expanding family. But we talk about fulfillment in a job. When we talk about longevity in a job, you still want to understand your values. So when, like Bailey said, the focus changes maybe from making money immediately to being fulfilled in your work, you're not lost. You'll know, hey, I took this role, it served this purpose for these amount of years, but I want to dive into something that's more along my values because I'm set up to do that now. That is okay too. But just know values do not leave. So we have to take some time to think about our values as much as we take time to figure out our careers, like our occupation titles and our major. We can't avoid that. We have to define and understand our work values.
And these are just a few examples that I tagged along in case you didn't like needed some more examples on what they exactly are. So we went over achievement, but like we talked about helping others, prestige, like having high standings if that's important to you, compensation, leadership, creativity, variety. Maybe you like consistency and you want to have a sit at your same office and do your same routine every day. Or maybe you want something a little bit different. That's totally fine. Just knowing where your values are. If you want challenge or having leisure time away from work. These are just a couple examples that I included. That way you kind of understand the starting point and what exactly they mean. So that way maybe you can start working on your own values, or you can take focus 2 and start researching different job titles to make sure you understand what the work values are.
And work values are before job titles. So you do not find a job title to determine your values. You determine your values, and then as you're searching job titles, major occupations, you understand what you value. And then you can make more informed decisions, but based on what your immediate need is or your immediate focus. But values need to be researched before we find multiple job titles or majors.
And these, once you have your values set, that's going to be important. We make sure we set those first. There are other things we talk about that are also important. So other traits than work values. So it's important to note these while you're playing a central role in your career. You can consider them in isolation, but it's important to take like personality tests, which this is where we're going to hit all the other parts of focus 2. And so these are just the screenshots. So I'm going to go back to focus 2, possibly. So here's our leisure assessment. We already took that. But also we have work interests. So I'm just going to click review. So once again, I'll ask you questions like designing art images, illustration, and advertising media. If you're good with the computer and you love working in Adobe and things like that, you can click all 5 stars. It just kind of depends. Like for example, like leading, motivating a sales team and marketing activities. You kind of click where you stand on each topic. 1 means not at all. 5 mean I'm very interested, would love that role. So
Hey,
go
right there,
through,
Bailey.
huh?
Go back to your first screen.
Well, I don't know if I can do that.
So I want to show you something Bailey did.
Oh, you want me to go?
Assessments. One thing is when you take an assessment of any sort, you're going to notice that Bailey had 1 star, 2 stars, or 5 stars. Some have 4. You do not see that Bailey has a majority of these at 3 stars. Most of the times when you're taking assessments, example, leading and motivating sales team. If someone paid Bailey enough money, she would do it. Okay, no one's saying we wouldn't, but this assessment is not asking me to think of every scenario and answer it. Right off the top of Bailey's head, she's like, no. Like if you ask me, no. Now, when we start thinking about factors, yes, you pay me 6 figures. I'll be leading the teams across the US. But the reality is, when we're doing assessments, I want you to take a note from Bailey's book. You'll see she said design theater set stages. Could she do it if she wanted to? But does she want to do? No, that does not interest her. So it's not bad to put 1 star. We don't need you to put 3 because 3 will tell the system you don't know what you want. And that's where you're going to get like a zookeeper for the first option. That's when you start getting like alchemist for the second one. And then you say, something's wrong with this assessment. And when I look at the stars, I'm going to look at you and you're going to look at me and I'm going to look back at you like, well, I need you to be a little bit more decisive. So I want you to pay attention as she goes through more, as how you'll see some will be 3, but most of them are looking like they're 1, they're 4, or they're 5. So as you're going through, look at her star choices.
And like notice also like another important thing, which some students do, maybe if you already have your career picked out and that's great, you are so confident, but do not take these assessments to try to fit that category as well. Just because, like for example, counseling students about their career and educational plans, that's what I do right now. I like it and I love it, but I didn't give it 5 stars because also maybe I want to see what other options I get, like a little bit more creativity. So don't try to fit like you fit into that one job category. If you want to major at that at the end of the day and you go through with it and you're happy with it, that's awesome. These are just assessments. They do not define you by any means. It just helps realize some of your strengths and some of your preferences, but do not try to fit yourself in a box on these assessments. You can take them, just see your options. And at the end of the day, you're still in control of your career path. These do not define it for you. Just want to let y'all know that because I know some students, like if the career assessment doesn't say it, maybe it's not meant to be. That's so not true. You are capable of anything and you can do it all. But as you can see here, yeah,
doesn't define you. So just because your assessments don't go, you're not wrong if you already have a plan. Okay. Please make the note. We are not the career center who says that your plan is not good. We're the career center that says we want to know your plan. And all we want to make sure is that with this plan, you know of all of your options. So like Bailey said, we do not have to fit it. You do not have to fit it. We are not there. I'm going to read because you probably have experienced this. We are not the experts at everything. You are the expert in your life. We want to make sure that you're making informed decisions, that you know your options, and that you can articulate change. So just because, like Bailey said, you may have said, I'm going to be a teacher. I'm going to be a teacher. Nothing's going to change my mind. Maybe 3rd year in, you're like, I need options. And guess what? You already have them. So do know that Bailey says something that is super important. We are not here to tell your plan is wrong. We just want to support whatever plan you have or help you develop one. That is it.
So as you can see, we have another tiebreaker here. We have enterprising and investigative. So for this, I'm just going to click enterprising because I feel like that's something that would fit most of y'all. So we'll click continue. And it tells me my results. So it gives me my Holland Code, which we're going to go over in a second, but it gives me social, artistic, and enterprising. So I get SAE. And it breaks me down and defines exactly why I got those, what I like about it. And I'll click continue. And then it gives me my different job titles. And like Jackie said earlier, as you can see, these are not super high salary jobs like we saw in the first couple ones. They're not in the $70,000 range or even higher. So that's totally fine because based off my work interest, this is like salary wasn't as important or making money on this quiz to me. So you can still see the different job families. They're a little bit different this time, but pretty relatively close. It lets me know that once again, the different majors, the little sunshine means I think it's a growing, right? Okay, a growing field. So it gives me different job titles to look at and things like that. So that's just one of them. That's work interests. We have personality, which I think I've already taken this one. So this one goes into maybe like more of your work style, like we talked about earlier. Like we talked about at a crowded social party, would you most likely do? And I would probably, I said, talk and stay within my group of friends instead of mingling against the whole party. I'm like an introverted extrovert kind of a person. So once again, it just kind of depends on your personality. So you go through and it gives you these different types of situations. Like, do you prefer to work on projects? And I said yes, because I do kind of like that teamwork. It goes through and gives you different ones. And we're going to click through these and click finish. So it tells me my personality type and what exactly that looks like. So we're going to click continue. So I'm open-minded, sociable, fun-loving, adaptable, and sensible. So it's going to go through. And once again, we're not seeing super high salary ranges. I don't think actor or actress is personally in my cards right now, but it does let me know the different job families. Once again, these are really different based off my personality. And you do see a little bit of that higher salary range, but once again, this is more of my personality. We see different majors. So yeah, so this is just one of them. And I think the other one
One
is
thing you
this.
notice too, with our personality, they didn't stay there. It wasn't, the other ones showed community service, education. This one literally dived into the personality. She had one going from business, one going to community, one in the arts, one in the legal realm. Because when we talk about personality, we are a spectrum, which means that she has a bit of piece of personality that will fit each one of these areas. So a lot of my students say, well, look, that's confusing. It's nerve-wracking because you have options. And so sometimes it's hard because we're like, well, I want to do all these different things and then just start. The whole point of these assessments is for you to pick somewhere to start. Also, what I do like about the system, you see where it says supporting majors at UNT Dallas. Now, what we did was it connected to the majors that we currently offer. So if I wanted to be an animal trainer, UNT Dallas wouldn't be the best option to prepare me for animal training. Is that so? A lot of the times it's us being aware. So again, this helps you even more. Have a lot of students say, I want to do art therapy or I want to be athlete. We do have a master's program in therapy, but is the single focus art? No. Do we just get athletic program? Yes. But do we have kinesiology programs for those trainers yet? No. So you want to be intentional. So this also helps you do that too. And then we have conversations. We don't want you to leave, but we want to make sure that you know your options that you can get with a major here at UNT Dallas.
And then we also have a skills assessment. So these are skills maybe I've got from past jobs, and these can be from part-time jobs, even experiences on campus, volunteering. I think you can only click 3 from each choices. So I click listening, helping, and reasoning. So sometimes you will not click things from other categories. You only pick your top 3 from this page. So once again, this one's kind of difficult. But after that, this is very much like the values. It still breaks down our work interests, different majors, the icons, things like that. You can see the job families. Once again, these are a little bit more high in pay, but this was just off the skills that I have. It's not anything about values or stuff like that. So just another option. And then also what we love about Focus 2 is you can combine different ones. So if we wanted to just focus on values and personality, I can click continue and click this little plus sign here. And it gives me different jobs based off those two assessments combined. So even if I don't like these results, because obviously we're not going back to medical school. So let's go back and we can maybe add skills. And it's going to give me different ranges. So once again, if you don't like one result, you can always combine different ones and it gives you plenty other. Because like Jackie said, it's giving you these because you have a little bit in each of these majors. So at the end of the day, you know you have choices and it's just picking the one that's best for you. So that's Focus 2. Let's go back to the presentation. And those are other ones besides work values to consider if you have your 3 values and it's like, okay, so now I have my value set. Where would I go from there? Those Focus 2 assessments are just a great way to see what other else lies in the job search for you. And then I'm going to let Jackie speak on Holland Code.
So with Holland Code, in the simplest way is Holland Code is going to break it up into about 7 to 8 different little sectors where, again, it's helping you understand who you are. That's all I want you to think about is who I am. So in Focus 2, you notice that we had an assessment. It has something like realistic, investigative, using the example from Bailey. She had SAE, social, artistic, enterprising, which that means that she likes helping others, not that she likes others or likes being around others, that she's artistic, not that she draws, it's that she enjoys being creative, enterprising, Not that she just wants to be a salesperson, but she likes the power of persuading. So that's another piece, is because again, you're like, all right, y'all, this is a lot. You got me talking about values. You got me looking at personality. Guess what? I need us to scratch our head a little bit and realize that once we start seeing, you're going to see a pattern. Bailey's seen that she had a pattern of helping others. So whatever she's doing, she wants to be helpful. Another thing we noticed is that she had this end where it was like persuading. She's giving presentations, she's teaching, she's telling someone about something. So what you're going to do is the more you pay attention, you're going to notice consistency. You're going to notice that, man, I'm picking jobs where I'm at least seeing one or two of these Holland codes. It's in Onet. It's in Focus 2. We talk about it. You're going to see it. So that's why we encourage, as it goes down, write them down. This is the work. This is a piece that most people skip to say, I got a major, let me go get a job. Where when they skip that, that's why they come and look at me, but like, I hate this job, I don't like this job, this doesn't fit with me. And when I have to send them back to Focus 2, they realize, wow, okay, I need to take some more time. So this is where connecting values and work takes time. This is a semester-long project by itself. Understanding it, asking questions. But all Holland Code helps categorize your personality in direct relation to work. That is it. So helping you understand your personality for work.
So let's go over the final steps. If we talked about it today, because we did go over a lot. So let's talk about. So step 1 is going to be identifying when you were the happiest. So think about a time maybe you volunteered or you were in a class and what you loved about that class or that experience. Like, what were you doing? What were other people doing? Who were you surrounded by? Maybe what were their majors? Like thinking about other factors that help contribute to your happiness. And then oh, you go ahead, Jackie.
Identify the times where you were proud. So this is what you want to think about. One, I got to think of when I was happy. We're not asking about grades, but if grades is one, great. Just when you were happy. Then go into when you were proud. When we talk about proud, it had a sense of like accomplishment. So when you think of proud, we want to think of accomplishment. So that'll be your step 2.
And then for step 3, we have identifying the times where you most fulfilled and satisfied. Again, you can use work examples or personal examples, but thinking about what needs or desires were filled in that moment. How did you feel, or how and why did this experience give you a life meaning? What other factors contribute to your feelings of fulfillment? So thinking about what you accomplished that day to make you feel like, oh, like that good feeling in your chest or your heart where you're like, yes, like I felt this, like I feel good about this. I feel like I could do this every day. Or maybe you saw a smile on someone else's face when you did for helping others. So thinking about what was that moment of fulfillment where you were like, ah, yes, I think I could practice this every day.
So going back to 1, what made you happy? 2, what made you proud? 3, what made you feel fulfilled? Most of the time we're looking for work. Those are the 3 big things that we want to feel. That I'm proud of the work I'm doing, I'm happy doing it, and it's fulfilling. Because once you evaluate those, step 4 is your values. You're going to have to prioritize your values. You're going to have to write them out. So the scariest thing is we're going to have to put some pen to paper and say, these are my values. Scale them 1 to 5. If you have your top 10, write 10. But you need to start scaling them. 1, 2, 3. Oh, this one is a 3. This one is a 1. Because guess what? When we're looking for a job, we're going to find jobs that we feel very happy with, that we can feel very fulfilled with, but not that we're always proud of. Or we may find jobs that we're super proud of, we feel fulfilled, but not necessarily happy all the time. So this is where you want to understand. You have to think happy, proud, fulfilled, my values, and then we go into the next step.
So step 5 is to reaffirm your values. Make sure you check your top priorities. Make sure, because like we talked about, maybe different experiences or life events happen and they might change. So making sure those are still in check and those are good with how you feel. Like, do these values make you feel good about yourself? Are you proud of these top 3 values? Like, would you be open to sharing them? Would you be comfortable to proud to tell these people like these were your values? Do these represent what you support? Even if the choice isn't popular and put you in a minority, like you have to be 110% confident. This is who you are. These are your values and these need to be met in your job. And then I think it is question time, which here's all of our social media You can email us with any questions if you don't have the questions right now and they come up later at careers.untdallas.edu. All our social media, as you can see, we're pretty much on everything. So follow us on one or all of these platforms. And here are the resources we used for today's presentation.
And know that if you are lost at any of those points, can you pull up our resource page, Bailey? One thing that I really want to point out, create a handshake account. A lot of the times, maybe you're like, great job, everyone. We're ready. We got some values, but I'm still lost, Jackie. It sounds good, but where do I start? Make a handshake account. Use your UNT Dallas email address. Choose your classification and choose your major and set up some time with us. Also, we just dropped our survey in the chat. So if you have some time, take that survey. Let us know how you feel about the content, how this program went for you. But a really, really big function for us is if you're a UNT Dallas student, alum or current student, please go ahead, create your handshake account, schedule some time with us. Let us meet, let us talk, let us work through this together. We're not here to say, figure it out on your own. We want to help you navigate our resources. But for my distance learning students, we are still seeing students online via email, MS Teams, phone call, and in person. So literally take some time out, schedule some time with us. Bailey is walking through it. Again, it's very, very simple. We have different appointment types. If you're ever lost, click on career planning. Don't stress yourself out. We have one that says career planning, or most of my students default to a career assessment, whatever that may be for you. Do not get nervous. Just click on it. Once you go to it, you'll see our availability. So you're not calling the front desk. You don't have to send an email. This is all the power of your hands. So again, we have our survey link in the bottom if you go into the messenger, as well as this link is already available on our website. So you don't have to search for Handshake. It's already on Handshake. Google UNT Dallas Career Services, click on our page. It is the green button. We made it even simpler. If you scroll down a little bit for me, Bailey, as well, here is all, scroll up, I guess, yeah. Here is all of our contact info. Go right back to our homepage, Bailey, where it says Career Services. If you're having technical difficulties, you can literally write us at career services at untdallas.edu. But here's our direct emails. So if you're just like, I'm overwhelmed, this is a lot for me, just email us and we will help you with those next steps. So we're very excited, but just know that values come before any job search, and really it comes before selecting a major. You have to understand the purpose and the why, and Bailey mentioned that several times. Understanding the purpose, understanding the why. Because then again, when you understand I'm choosing this field because I want to do this, because you're going to notice, you're going to see the fulfillment, you're going to be happy, you're going to be proud of what you're doing, and you're going to be able to navigate those career changes. Did you have anything else? Anybody else want to add anything else? Awesome. So again, Handshake, create an account. We'll have multiple other programs. So please look at all our social media, stay in the loop with us, connect with us on LinkedIn. And also, if you haven't had a chance, we have the survey link in the messenger. So without further ado, we just thank you for your time today. Have a great, great week, and we will see you at our next workshop and program.
Bye, y'all.